Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out Arcade Archive's Gradius on Nintendo Switch. Okay, so this is not versus Gradius, this is just regular Gradius. So let's check out the Japanese version first. I don't know how many different versions of this game is Arcade Archive's going to have. Not to mention that this game also appears on the KONAMI Arcade Classics, so you may already have this depending on what kind of wagon habits you have. But that being said, maybe you only want the original Gradius all by itself. Gradius is one of my all-time favorites, the whole series. You know, with Gradius on the top, as far as shmup goes, you know, side-scrolling shmups. R-Type next. Darius. It's all the same stuff here. Then I'd slot in Thunder Force in there for the side-scrollers. Okay. Not sure what the difference is between Nemesis. I want to say that there is some slight differences in Nemesis versus just Gradius. But that may be Salamander versus Life Force. In fact, this was one of the games that I wanted the original Nintendo for. But again, yeah, my family couldn't afford that system. It was way too expensive. That and Castlevania were like the two big games that I really wanted. And I don't think I ever saw this game in the arcade that was near my house. The buttons are so weird. B is fire in this one, and A is missile, and Y is the power-up button on the default setup. It takes some getting used to on my part. God, it's so weird. Okay, look at these button settings again. So, missile and shot. It's the ZR. Let's turn on rapid fire though. Alright, that might make things easier for me. Yeah, you know, the original Nintendo version is, I feel it's pretty accurate. You know, obviously it didn't have the same sort of tech involved, so you get some flicker that wasn't present in the arcade version. But the spirit of the game is still there. You know, it's very, very close. In some ways, I feel that the music is maybe a little bit better in the version, Lieutenant version. Although the sound does, the sound channels drop out quite frequently in that one. Yeah, but now that I'm taking a good look at it, it's like, oh yeah, there's definitely some detail that was missing from that version that most of us are more familiar with. A little slow down there, yeah. Sort of makes sense with the hardware they're using. The game gets significantly harder the more firepower you have. Oh, about to enter the volcanoes with a pea shooter? Oh boy. Oh boy, I assume you have way more firepower than I do by the time you get here. Multi-screen scrolling, not all that common during these days. So really pretty innovative for the time period. And this power-up system of, collecting capsules and then selecting them, manually was also, again, not very common. Common now, but certainly not common back then. Most of the time you pick up the power-up and it was tied to, like, a specific weapon. But here you can sort of pick and choose. Obviously some combinations would be better than others. And certain orders would be better than others. Don't have enough. The laser would have been actually a detriment. Oh, I'm so used to my buttons being set up differently. No, it's always been a really tough game. And I think the arcade one isn't too terribly well balanced. I mean, it is pretty unfair to you. Well, you know, it was meant to eat quarters, you know, not give you a balanced game. I think the only Gradius I had in my arcade was the Versus Gradius, which is basically just the NES game in an arcade cabinet. Man, now that I think about it, I don't even think we ever saw Gradius 3. Certainly not Gradius 4. In my local arcade, at least. Oh, I need the speed. Still great music, great composition. And themes that they would use throughout the entire series. You know, they'd always revisit these same tunes. I forgot how much slowdown there was in this. Very important to get my name in there. Show off to all my friends. Whoever you are. Okay, let's take a look at the other versions. Let's look at Nemesis. It's nice they have all the regions on there. I wonder why it was renamed to Nemesis instead of just using Gradius. Maybe it sounded too foreign? I don't know. I don't really associate Gradius, the sound of Gradius with any particular language. Ah, it's terrible. Oh, it came back really fast. Oh, I wonder if they upgraded the hardware. Yeah, 'cause that reloaded quick. Look how much more dangerous it is. Like, way more bullets now. It's almost dangerous to have another option, and then it just gets so much harder once you have 3 options. Look at that thing, it's going crazy. Alright, what? It's come by so fast. Oh, usually only girls hear that after I go on a Tinder date. Haha! Oh my god. So hard. Definitely what they don't hear on the Tinder date. Oh, you can continue. That's a big difference. So there are some significant differences then. Thought it was largely cosmetic, but guess not. Alright, let's check out the European version. Same tile screen. Turn into like a rush of sugar, sipping back and forth. Yeah, so violent. Yeah. It's so much harder the more firepower you have. Really punish you, you know? Yeah, it is funny to think of that. I never, even though I really love the series, I never saw the arcade game of any of the series of games in my local arcades when it was a thing. I think that's true even to this day. I don't think I've ever actually seen an arcade cabinet with any of the Gradius series where I am. So really, my love only came from the home versions. Really, it was like Gradius 3 on Super Nintendo. I mean, that's the one that I spent the most time on. And then maybe Gradius 5 on PlayStation 2. Yeah, I'm hoping the series gets revived. There's certainly talk of it, but, you know, it's highly unlikely, but you never know. Just wishful thinking. They did try to revive Contra, but that was more than a little bit of a disaster. I know, I didn't cover that game in here, did I? Yeah. I had a hard time justifying, you know, money spent on it. Even if it's for a joke. You know, but if you don't spend money on it, then, like, KONAMI thinks that people don't want it. It's like, no. People want Contra. They just want it good. I normally say look to the success of, like, the independent games that are Contra-like, but it's probably not, like, successful enough numbers for a company like KONAMI, right? It's like 120,000 in sales is not enough to support a another Konami game. You know, as successful as another game like it could be. You know, we'd probably have to hit at least 300,000, you know, closer to 500,000, in order for it to really be viable to a big company. And you know, the shmup market is just not there to support it. So that's not big enough. But they can have these, you know, micro releases, and I think $8 is less offensive to people, or $20 or $30 is less offensive than $60 for a new shmup. You know, I know a lot of people turn their nose at the idea of paying that much money, but with such a limited market, you kind of have to charge that much in order to make up for the low sales. But then you could say, well, if you charge less, then there'll be more sales. But that's also proven not to be true. You know. The less you charge doesn't necessarily guarantee the sales of a genre with such a niche audience. But enough of that. This is audap watching Arcade Archive's Gradius on Nintendo Switch. It's as accurate as I can tell. It runs at, you know, full speed, or what would have been full speed for the arcade cabinets, the arcade versions. It's pretty accurate. I think it's interesting to see the different versions and how they. You know, how they change the systems a little bit. And again, if you don't necessarily want the larger collection from the KONAMI Arcade Classics, and maybe you just want this game, just the arcade version of this game, and you didn't want the Versus version or any other versions that have appeared, then I could recommend it as long as you didn't have it already in some other form. And it's still a good game that's challenging, and I think it still stands the test of time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.